I would like to talk really quick about this image. It's a sad Earth, covered in storm clouds, which are actually normal for Earth, but also covered in cut down trees and standing in a puddle of refuse. Not sure what planet it's standing on, but regardless, the Earth is sad and it is crying, and it says no intelligent species would destroy their own environment. And I feel like I occupy a space where I feel very lonely, and I don't want to feel lonely, and I hope that you all, like, there are other people in this space with me, so if you'll listen, maybe we will find out whether or not we occupy this space together. Hannah Ritchie's very excellent book, Not the End of the World, has a subtitle, and let me try and read it to you. How can we be the first generation to build a sustainable planet? And there are people who will push back against this, but the argument she makes is that sustainability in her definition includes things like children not dying in infancy. And when I look at images like this, what I see is a complete disregard for the accomplishments of humans. I also saw a thing yesterday, and it was like, if Louis Pasteur could see us drinking raw milk, he would be rolling in his grave. And first of all, Louis Pasteur died like decades before pasteurized milk became a normal thing. Second, if Louis Pasteur could see how few people die of infectious diseases in today's world, he would cry a river of joy. He would look at us and think, I helped make that world possible? In the United States in 1895, a quarter of people born could expect to not live to 5. And that was lower than it used to be. And I have to emphasize this as much as I can. The biggest problem that our planet faces is that there are so many humans, and that the humans in question want to provide a very high standard of living for themselves and their children. So the reason why the environment is fucked, I know that there's a group of people who will not believe me when I say this, and they will say, no, it's the fossil fuel companies. And look, the fossil fuel companies have made this much worse and have slowed down our transition, and they are not the only problem, but they are a huge problem. But the biggest reason why we have a problem is love. It's that we want to have children, we want them to survive, and so now there are 8 billion of us. And now that there are 8 billion of us, we want all 8 billion of those people to have pretty good lives. And I, sitting here in my heated office, in short sleeves in December, I cannot tell a bunch of people in China or India or Ghana that they can't have what I have. Here's my point. Our intelligence, for the vast majority of history of life on Earth, has been oriented toward survival. And that has resulted in a huge amount of survival. And now we are in a situation where there can be a good life that has a great deal of survival and thriving in it, that does not require the amount of impact on the environment that we are having. But an unintelligent species that did what we have done, and this has happened before. Trees, for example, caused a mass extinction. When they arrived on land, they absorbed so much carbon dioxide that there was no longer very much carbon dioxide in the air. The water became less acidic, and many things died on the planet because of trees, and they didn't know that they were doing it. But also, you can't blame them because they're trees, and so of course they couldn't see it coming. But here's a story that I think we miss. When we, as a species, encounter local environmental problems, we tend to fix them. It was not long ago that London could be so clogged with coal smoke that you had to clean it off the windows every day. And that is no longer the case. You now never think of London as a place that is, like, got a coal smoke problem. In fact, the United Kingdom recently stopped burning coal entirely, which is very weird historically, considering they're where the coal started. But it was also very recently, like, I remember it like it was yesterday, that Beijing had this problem. And now Beijing has this problem much less. It still has an air pollution problem, just like Los Angeles does, but much less. When rivers catch on fire, we actually change our policies. When the rain becomes acidic, we change our policies. The problem with global warming is twofold. One, it's invisible. There are cold days and hot days like there always were. There will always be cold days and hot days. You can't see the river catch on fire. You can't see the trees on the hilltop dying because the soil has become so acidic because the coal-fired power plants have been putting sulfur into the atmosphere. You can't see it. We only know about global warming because we are an intelligent species. If we were not smart, we would be trundling down this path completely oblivious, sometimes wondering why it got so hot, which I have to point out, was a thing that happened in the past. There were times when it just got cold or hot and we didn't know why, and then the crops would fail and a bunch of people would starve, and it was because there was a freaking volcano halfway across the world. We only know the problem exists because we're smart. We only have the tools to deal with it because we're smart. We are only implementing those tools because we are smart. And the other problem with global warming is another reason why we're slow at this, why we are too slow at this, which is because the carbon dioxide is the goal gas. I feel like this is not understood by people, but with acid rain, we didn't want the sulfur or the nitrogen to get released into the atmosphere. That was just a side effect of burning coal. With the hole in the ozone layer, we didn't want those molecules being released into the atmosphere. That was just a side effect of how it worked. Like, what we wanted was cooling. And cooling, by the way, has saved so many lives. And we are going to have more of it to continue to save those lives. And that's going to be energetically expensive. But it won't be expensive when it comes to the hole in the ozone layer because we have better solutions now. But energy is what so much of our thriving is based on, and we do not want to give up that thriving. And the way that we have created that energy, for the most part, has been burning fossil fuels. And the goal gas, the gas that you inevitably get out of burning fossil fuels, if you burn them as cleanly as possible, all you get is carbon dioxide and water vapor. We built our society on it. We built our thriving on it because we are smart and because we want to provide a good life for ourselves and our children. This is a smart species activity. My son is starting to come home from school with ideas like this in his head, where he's like, we need to stop cutting down all the trees, Dada. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, what we need is for there to be lots of forests that are left to their own, but also remember that the house that we live in is built out of wood. And like the gears that crank in his head, where he starts to like ask himself if he's part of the problem, which is why we need to have the definition of sustainability include the opportunity for human freedom and agency. I'm not saying that I shouldn't be responsible for more carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere. Absolutely, I should. I probably, I mean, it's kind of cold in here, honestly, but I should be wearing a hoodie right now. I should not have had the heater on all night in here. But I think if we have this simplistic idea of humans, or certain humans, this is a lot of the responses I saw to this were like, no one ever said a Republican was an intelligent species. And I'm like, oh my God, you people are so caught up in like a current discourse and like the like current moment that you can't see how hard all of our ancestors worked to provide us with a world that has plenty of food. That's the biggest thing. Plenty of food, but also climate-controlled shelter and pretty easy transportation to anywhere within, what, 400 miles? And then expensive, but still accessible transportation to the whole world. And also bananas, which I love. And we're not gonna grow in Montana. And if we did, it would be more energy expensive than shipping them from South America where they're supposed to grow. Humans are remarkable. We are very powerful. Give any species this level of power and they will provide opportunities for thriving for themselves and their children. They will try and prevent their children from dying. They will, for the most part, there are some species that actually probably wouldn't do this, but for the most part, they will walk through fire to make sure that their children don't die. They will destroy the earth to make sure their children won't die. But I'm glad that we have enough intelligence both to provide those opportunities for our children to not die, but also to start to uncover the impacts that we have, hopefully with some time to self-correct some amount. We're, at this point, going to experience significant negative impacts from the warming of the planet. We did not move fast enough. I think that there's all kinds of not valid, but like understandable reasons why we haven't moved fast enough. This is hard. People are greedy. People suck. People will tell stories to make themselves believe that the things that they want to do are in fact the right things to do. We all do that. But I don't want my son growing up thinking that the species he is a part of is in some way evil. And I feel like that's like the root of a lot of sort of armchair environmentalism. I want him thinking humans are problem solvers and solving problems creates new problems. And that's a little bit more of a complicated idea, but it is so true. I have solved so many problems, and never have I solved a problem that didn't create a new problem. I think we're absolutely at a place where increasing the amount of access to energy that I have as an individual will not make my life any better, but that is not the case for the majority of people on Earth. More access to medicine, refrigerators, ways to cook food that don't involve fires, which we honestly in the US could also do a better job of. For Christ's sake, we have to stop having natural gas stoves. This is so stupid. I made a video about that once. I'll put that video at the end of this video after I play Connections. How about that? But when we solve the global warming problem, we will have created new problems. And we're doing it right now. You know, in the background, there's like a land use fight. Like, renewable technologies use way more land. There's just like solar panels take up a lot of space. Wind turbines take up a lot of space. You have to make a road between each wind turbine. Those roads take up a lot of space. They impact the environment by being there, both of those things. And I think in the future, we will uninstall a bunch of those things because we'll have other technologies that are better. We'll have maybe like advanced geothermal, or we'll have more fission, or we'll have fusion, or whatever it is, but we're gonna need energy. And the people of the future will be mad at us for the work that we did, and that's fine. Just like we're kind of mad at all the people who made the world a better place by burning a bunch of coal so that we could all have refrigerators, which nobody thinks about as a perk anymore. They just think that's normal. 100 years ago, more than half of Americans didn't have a refrigerator. It wasn't that long ago. And that's the situation in India right now. Less than half of households in India have a refrigerator. And in the next 100 years, that number had better be 100%, or I'm gonna be pissed off at us. I know this video could have been a lot shorter. It could have just been one sentence. It could have been, humans are not evil. We solve problems, and when we do, we create new problems. And I think that is, like, universally probably gonna be a pretty normal story of intelligent species. Like, if we found another, I bet they'd have a lot of stories about how they created problems by solving problems. And the speed at which we solve the problems, I think there's absolutely some shame we should experience here. I admit it's a hard one, but oh my God, the extent to which we will not accept any inconvenience in exchange for making the world more livable for people in other places in the world, and also our own children in the future, is stupid. I will say, this is an amount of foresight that is unusual and requires a great deal of intelligence. There aren't a lot of other species out there trying to figure out how to make the world work for the next generation. Like, that's not how they think, because most species don't think about the future. They don't have a conception of the future. Like, dogs don't have a conception of the future. So, like, it's remarkable that we're able to do it at all. I do think we could have been better at this. And I am frustrated the extent to which we have spent a lot of time arguing instead of acting. And we could have acted faster, and that would have mattered. But anyway, let's play Connections. As the day has gone on, it has gotten colder in here, and I have put on a jacket now. I don't know. I actually didn't have the heater on. I don't know why. Maybe I was just running hot this morning. But now this is my outfit, and I wanted to tell you that you can give people a subscription to the Awesome Socks Club for Christmas. We have a 6-month and a 12-month option that automatically cancel after those periods of time. And it's an amazing Christmas present, because what you're setting that person up for is like 3 big things. 1, covering for their feet, which I love. I'm always covering up my feet. Second, a nice little surprise that arrives at their doorstep once a month. It's a different pair of socks designed by a different independent artist, and you don't know what they're gonna look like, and it's always fun to open it up. It's a good time. You could also ask for this as a present if this is sounding appealing to you. And lastly, because it's a Good Store product, all the profit from it gets donated to charity. So check it out. It's a Good Store, and it doesn't have to arrive in time for Christmas. You could just let them know that you bought it for them for Christmas, and they can expect it to arrive at their door. There's a link in the description. Also, you can buy all of our other stuff. I'm drinking the Moonlit Mint tea right now. It is delicious. Also nice for a kind of cold day in my office. And also, I'll put a link down there to gift cards as well if you just like to buy someone a gift card. That's always a nice thing to do. We got Hairspray, Rosebud, Pokemon Primate, Xanadu, Jazzercise. Those 2 things occupy similar spaces in my mind. I'm talking about the movie, and that's like 80s things. Snow Globe, Paralympics, PayPal, Paradise, Para, but those are the only ones. Wikipedia, Seventh Heaven Salad Dressing, Magic 8 Ball, Shangri-La. Wikipedia is standing out to me as a big deal here, because that's really weird. But we also had Xanadu and Hairspray. Are there other musicals that I don't know about could be a musical. But what the other thing I saw was Xanadu, Shangri-La, Paradise, Seventh Heaven. So that seems like a thing. This is like good places to go. Not like, actually, yeah, it's not like heaven. It's like real good places. Like, oh, this is a paradise. So that's definitely one. Let's put them together somehow. Hello? One of these times they'll be together. That's close enough. Snow Globe and Rosebud are Citizen Kane things. I have not seen Citizen Kane in a long time, so if there's other things, is there a character named Ketchum in Citizen Kane? They don't do Jazzercise or have Wikipedia or Magic 8 Balls, which are all, these are all eight. Okay, there is an 80s thing going on here still, even though Xanadu's gone, because Magic 8 Ball, Hairspray are 80s things. Jazzercise is an 80s thing. Pokemon's not an 80s thing. I mean, it was around in the 80s, but barely. It's not an 80s thing, though. It's a 90s thing. Seventh Heaven, is that a TV show from the 80s? That one's in the other category. I hope. Oh, no. But like then it would be Xanadu and Seventh Heaven was the 70s. And maybe Jazzercise and the Magic 8 Ball were the 70s. And Seventh Heaven definitely was the 80s. I'm pretty sure. And maybe Xanadu was the 70s. And so that's the category. But no, because like this is definitely the category. Shangri-La, Xanadu, Paradise, Seventh Heaven. Right? Okay, let's go back to Wikipedia, you guys. Wikipedia is a website and PayPal is a website, and none of these other things are websites. Wikipedia is a place that it's community created. Maybe that's true of the Paralympics. No, it's not. But the thing is, this isn't like a blank Wikipedia. That isn't a thing. Like Wikipedia editor, I guess, could be a thing. Wikipedia, but no, it's not in there. It just seems so specific. We've got a lot of long words here. So, okay. What about portmanteaus? Wikipedia, Paralympics, Pokemon is a portmanteau. Jazzercise is a portmanteau. PayPal is just two words together. Hairspray is just two words together. Rosebud is just two words together. Snow Globe is just two words together. Okay, so do we have... That would be fun. That would be fun and mean to have one be specifically portmanteaus and one be specifically just two, like... What's that called? Conjugate word? No. Conjugal word. Compound word. Primate. So if that was that, and then it was two words, PayPal, Rosebud, Snow Globe, Hairspray. Is there anything else that would fit in that category? No. I don't know, though. What would that leave us with? That would leave us with salad dressing, Ketchum, primate. Wait a second. Things you shake. That's definitely it. Things you shake. Which would leave us with Ketchum, Rosebud, Primate, and PayPal. So did everybody see how I did that? Because I don't really know. I noticed that Hairspray and Snow Globe were both things you shake. And then salad dressing and Magic 8 Ball are also things that you shake. And I feel like that's right. And then this is whatever this is. Ketchum, Rosebud, Primate, PayPal. This feels like they feel similar words, even though they are not all compound words. They are the ketchup, rosebud, primate. They're words that end in friend, chum, bud, mate, pal. Fuck yes! Fuck yes! That kicks ass! That feels good! That feels good! Hell yeah! What's gonna be our blue? I gotta get that reverse rainbow now! I think the hardest one there... Ah! Crap on a dingus! I fucked up! Shit! Oh no! What was it? What's the other portmanteau? Pokemon! God damn it! Oh, that sucks. Well, nobody's perfect. Xanadu Paradise, Shangri-La... No, things you shake would be next, right? No, I don't know. Snow Globes, Magic 8 Ball, salad dressing, Hairspray. Oh, great. Well, I got the reverse rainbow even if I got one wrong. We're living through what we're living through. Thanks, everybody. All right. Well, I'm going to stick the video about stoves and why we shouldn't use, for both health reasons and environmental reasons, why we should no longer use gas stoves. Okay, enjoy that. Goodbye. Good morning, John. I've had a half a cup of coffee, and I'm going to do something I almost never do. I'm going to make an unscripted video about a thing that I care very passionately about. You, watching this video, need to not want a gas stove. Why? Because they suck. Here's the thing that you are right about. The Curly Q heating element stoves, they are the worst. They're hard to clean. They're extremely hard to control. Like, you cannot turn them on and off quickly. They take forever to heat up. They take forever to cool down. But what happened is the stovetop and natural gas industry made it so that what takes the place of that in your brain is a natural gas stove that has like the little blue flames. They're so beautiful that like Gordon Ramsay used. But what you're doing when you have a natural gas stove is burning stuff in your home, which results in, get this, decreased indoor air quality. Now you can get around this by like having your fume hood like going full blast, and certainly never have a natural gas stove that doesn't have a hood. Or, get this, you could have an induction stovetop that has more power and is easier to control than natural gas. Chances are there are 3 pipes connected to your house. There's the one that brings you water. That one's important. The one that takes the water away. We also want that. And the one that brings you methane. What century is this? It would be like having the gas station bring the gasoline directly to your car. Like, this is a bad idea. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hank, there is no way that cooking my HelloFresh is significantly adding to climate change, and you're right. But here's the thing. Household natural gas use is a big contributor to climate change. It's just not mostly the stovetop. However, when natural gas companies ask people how they feel about switching their furnace from gas to electric, or their water heater from gas to electric, they're like, I don't care. Whichever. Whatever's better. I don't know. Because you currently have a really efficient way to get power into your home that isn't a pipe full of methane. It's a power line! And there are great electric water heaters, and there are great electric furnaces and heat pumps. But people say, I want my natural gas stove. But that's a tiny percentage of the methane that is actually being sold by the gas company. Almost all of it is used in furnaces and water heaters. But as long as people are like, I want to keep my gas stove, it's harder to clean, it makes the air inside my house dirty, but House Hunters says that it's a top-tier product, people will keep having the natural gas companies build and replace this extremely expensive infrastructure to pipe gas into our homes. And gas companies are freaking out about this, and they're doing all these campaigns about how great gas ranges are, even though they are objectively worse, because if they can keep that toehold, they can make it make sense to keep giving you gas for those other things that electric could easily replace. But look, electric could also easily replace your stove, because induction stovetops are better than gas. And so, one of the most important things that you can do as a person who is concerned about climate change is take the little thing out of your brain that says the gas stoves are the best kind of stove and look at it and be like, you're a freaking idiot. Then you throw it onto your induction stovetop and nothing happens, because that's not how it works. It induces the heat in the pan. The stovetop itself doesn't get hot because they're amazing. So you have to put it into a pan, put that on the stovetop, fry it up, and have it with butter. This is why I script. That right there is why I script. So that doesn't happen. It's not important that you replace your gas stove right now. In fact, it's probably best that you don't. It's important that you don't think it's better than induction, because it's not. Because at some point in the future, someone's gonna knock on your door and say, this area is about to have its natural gas pipes replaced, and we have to decide whether or not to replace them with infrastructure that will last 60 to 80 years. And if a bunch of people in your neighborhood say, well, I would, but I really like my gas stovetop, it's not gonna happen, and we're gonna keep burning methane in people's houses for 80 years. I would be sympathetic if gas were better, but it's not. John, I'll see you on Tuesday. Wow, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Good job. To say thank you for doing that, I don't know. I guess I'm here one last time.